Hey, what's good, guys? Popo here. I'm doing a lot better today. Thank you very much for coming to the channel. Just about every day, whenever I wake up, I tend to go through the same routine. I open up my Google, I go to the Akai site, I make sure there's no updates or anything like that. I check my Amazon account, check out how much money I made off the ads, $1.52, pretty sweet. Woke up, found $1.52. I go to my YouTube and I check my analytics and everything, and I go down to my live count. Looks like we're doing great. Super. If you guys need to send any MPC files, and they're saying they're a little bit too big and you don't want to zip them, I use WeTransfer. Super easy. It's free, and you just send your stuff. Then I go to my 8-bar beat site, make sure it's up and running. I do have MIDI files and stuff here for you guys if you like melodies or want to chop up stuff, or if you want to get in contact with me, you can do that. These are just my tabs. I have these set on the computer this way. Every single time that I get up here, I can go ahead and get right to work. So everything looks like it's up and running real good. And this is just something that I do every day. But what I want to show you is I've been really wanting to get into mixing with the MPC, and it's lacking a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can use the tools that it has, and it's very cool. I'm just looking for a little bit more visual feedback. Like whenever I go here and I go to dynamics, and it's not even under dynamics, it's under EQ filter. If I go to like my 4-band parametric EQ, if I even said that right, you guys can laugh at me, that's cool. So you got this thing here, and then it looks like this. It's like I kind of get what's going on and everything like that, but to do that, you almost have to look up like a cheat sheet on what the different frequencies are and where they live and everything like that, which I found a really cool page. I'll show you here real quick. So all we're gonna do is go to Google and type in mixer cheat sheet, and these images pop up. You go to images, these pop up, and this one looks pretty good actually. So if you want to look at this one, I would recommend it. Not this whole site that it just took me to, guys, come on. But this right here, this sheet right here, it shows you male, female vocals, and these are the hertz over here for bass, all the way up to 20K from 20. And these really, I mean, this is how you want to set your mixer. Now, what I'm trying to say is whenever I go into my MPC, I know you can just set your mixer and then forget it, and you don't have to ever worry about touching it again, but I want to be able to see bell shape and important stuff that isn't in here. So what I'm trying to get at is I might have to use a different DAW, just because even my VSTs, like if I scanned all my VSTs, it doesn't show up in here. It shows a few. I can use my beat timer. That's really dope. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a MIDI track, and I'm going to open up Fruity Loops through my MPC software. It's going to be a plugin. VST, Fruity Loops, and I got that to show up in my software by going to File or Edit, and you go to Preferences, you go to Plugins and search your C program files, and it'll pick up all your plugins. So now I got Fruity Loops here. When I click the window, this pops up. So I click the strawberry. I'll have to minimize this. It's ridiculous. And what's really, really cool about having the Fruity Loops here is it gave me this whole layout. Like, this is a template of all the tracks that I can get. So if I want this to be, like, if I took the time out, I could make, how would I do this? I'm getting off course here, but if I wanted to use, I don't have hype. I need to upgrade this. Let's say if I wanted to use loom. Okay. So now channel 1's loom. And all I have to do is go to my MPC. I'm on plugin channel 1, track 1. I'm all good to go. And when I hit, like, I'll show you here. Right here. Yeah, no, we're good to go. All I gotta do is hit this pad. And that is going to be Fruity Loops Loom track 1. And as I move over my tracks, it'll go down and down. We're not going to do that. What I'm trying to get at is that whenever I hit my mixer over here, it gives me a little bit more option to, let's say, I'm going to hit my mixer. There's always a different mixer that I want to hit. Oh, I'm not even in Fruity Loops. I need to be in Fruity Loops. Okay. So now I'll go to my FL mixer. And what's really cool is whenever I select track 1, it's all labeled. I can color code everything. It really kind of makes things easier for me personally. So I got 1 selected. And we're going to add an effect to that. All I want to do is add that parametric EQ on slot 1. I'm going to select parametric EQ 2. And not even the 4, just the 2. And this is what I'm talking about. Whenever I hit the pad on, you can hear it, you know what I'm saying? And this is the same thing that this other plugin down here, I'm going to try to bring this up. It's the same thing this here. This is a 4-band that does the same thing. And it just, I want to be able to see what I'm doing. You can go through the presets and it gives you bell shape and everything really, really cool. And I see a lot of people like putting each sound in its own pocket. And right down here it shows 20, 50, 100, 200, 500, 100, and so on, all the way to 20,000, okay? And the same thing with, it corresponds with everything that's on the sheet here from 20 to that. So what I'm trying to say is I really, really like to use this on every single one of my tracks. And I wish that I had a mixer that I could just use. Let me show you this. That I could just plug in, like this mixer that I got back here, I have to go in and be like kick, snare, hi-hat into groups and then send it into one channel. If I want to, that's a good way. But if you do it individual with all those instruments, you got this hardware sitting there that you got it's sitting there like that. You can't see the sounds. You have to really use your ears. And a good practice for me was I just plugged my TV straight into my mixer, and I turned on a hockey game or a baseball game, basketball game, anything that you watch all the time. You know the sound of the squeaky shoes, you know the sound of everything. Or listen to your favorite song from your artist, and it's just like being in your car. You're like, oh, dude, I'm gonna turn up the bass a little bit just to get the little rumble. You go to the low end, and you didn't do that, or you cut out the high end. And really, if you're just going straight into the mixer, it's gonna sound whack whenever you listen to your TV or a hockey game. You can bring your kid down there and be like, dude, fix this, make it sound like it normally sounds, and you can sit there and tune it in. But it's a lot easier to be able to see something, and I wish that on the MPC screen, I know it's asking a lot for it to be moving and jumping around. It's a lot of processing power, but hopefully in the future we can get an MPC that has some of that stuff, has a guitar tuner built into it. This way, live musicians can, I mean, it's cool to be able to know what tune your sample's in, but to be able to tune your instrument before you play an audio track into it is really, really cool. I have a voice tuner in there. An HDMI out would be really, really cool, and just to plug it straight into the TV as a monitor. The detachable screen thing, whatever, that's cool too. It would be really, really cool to have a lot more stuff in the next MPC. But for right now, that's kind of what I got going. So I've been kind of looking at different mixers, unfortunately, because I love my mixer. Before the update, I used to have to go with the software and assign each track, go back into the mixer, and go back groups into the MPC, which is fine. I can do that. It's great. But as I make songs on the MPC, getting really heavy into melodies and of course sample packs, so I can take you to the site and you guys can get melodies and all that and chop them up and all good. But I'm just, I want to be able to separate those sounds and make them the best way possible. And I think by having a different mixer with that little EQ thing, and the best part of making the song for me now is separating each sound and finding its own identity and being able to send clean stems that aren't muddy. It's about, I just like to be able to have those nice and neat and in their own pocket. So I've been looking at the Behringer Wing. It looks really, really good. And Allen and Heath makes a really, really cool mixer too. And it's my first big mixer, so I'm looking at both of them. Tell me what you guys think, what mixers you use, and if you've had any problems with them on the MPC. I know I get a little bit of popping once in a while, but if there's any updates on the site that you go to, I would definitely try to update your USB drivers ASAP. Other than that, guys, I want to show you something valuable, I guess. Like if you're sending somebody stems on the MPC and you have audio tracks, and there's like, I get that there's no like arranger mode, okay, but you can do this. This is kind of cheating, I guess. Where are we at here? Let's go audio track. Let's add 8. Go ahead and do this here. It's like I don't even use this software, so here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's say I send you a file and it's got all this stuff in it. I sent this to somebody, they wanted it, so I sent it to them. And I go audio track 1. Can you do that? It won't even let me drag and drop an audio file. See, it's kind of stuff like this that's a little whack. So let's go ahead and just open up the whole file. This will only take a second. Let's hit save. So we got the audio file in here now, and it says 2 bars, so it's only going to play 2 bars. So if you want 64 bars, now you got, change that to 64, whatever. And you can kind of just take these and arrange them. I wish there was a way to shrink this down. Here we go. So I don't see what the problem is. Like, if I had this in standalone, like if I could right click this, or is there a way to copy, and then here, paste? Yeah, there you go. So I don't know what the deal is. You can copy and paste all day long. So you click this one here, Control C, put it where you want. It's not the, okay, yeah, so it didn't work. Yeah, it did. Control C. It's not the most efficient. Yeah, copy paste works just fine. So you can do that to the whole song and do 64 bars that way. But that's definitely not the way that I would do it. I don't like using the software one bit. So, yeah. The reason I got one more thing, and then I'll wrap it up. I haven't been able to make a video in a minute, so I just kind of crammed a lot of this at once. I'll show you again. The reason why you might want to use FL Studio is I could have just dragged all of those. Let's take the MPC software, go to MIDI again, I'll just go to plugin, and VIP software is truly awesome. When you open this, this is how you make some really nice, super huge fat sounds. You take all your plugins and you make 8 different sounds on here. You hit the key and man, it's beautiful. Let's see if I can get a key on here. No. Anyway, let's get this Fruity Loops open and I'll show you this here. Fruity Loops is a pretty good program just because, like, look, it just looks a little, it's cool because it just always leaves room for a Kai. Like, this is gonna totally freeze up. Close this program. So this is kind of what I've been looking at. I mean, it's a little much, but I'm used to that tilt screen from the MPC, and it's got the regular inputs that I'm used to. It looks great, and this Signa Connect is very interesting. Like, you can do a lot with this, and it's all you can control it all with over network, and the MPC and the sorry, I'm just speechless right now just looking at this. All the MPCs can function over a Wi-Fi network. Same with this. So you turn a knob on your MPC and this fader will go up and down. I just think it's really cool. This has a lot of routing options, probably a lot more than what I need, but it's always to go a little bit more. I wish there was like a picture that I could show you guys. Like, it's just, it has that parametric EQ. It has mixing stuff that I can see, and I can definitely go by ear. You know what I'm saying? I can go by ear and tune it and all that, but getting into sound, I want to make sure that it's right, you know, not just sounds good to me, but actually looks right. And I don't know, it just looks like a lot of fun. A lot of the times whenever I'm making ambient music, it sounds muddy. So I need as many channels in as possible and to get those sounds exactly where I need them to be. And I'm not even sure if that's the route I want to go, because there's some software stuff out there that does like 5.1 surround sound. You can tell which, you know, I want to be able to do tilt. There's so many things that I want to be able to do with a mixer, and other than gain stage and do parametric EQ and have some certain plugins. I know Solid State makes some really nice ones too, but I've seen some just straight up plugins that are for mixing and mastering like that. So I don't know. I don't mind having these go in to get my signal going in hot, and then taking those groups into like a bigger mixer to do my final touches on. I don't know if that's a little overboard, and you really don't need to do it. You can do it all in your MPC, of course. You can just do it like that. But I want to go the extra step, and instead of just like making an earth home, like taking material and just making it, I want to be able to sculpt something like beautiful. You know what I'm saying? So that's my next goal, is to get into like I think a big mixer. I think that might help me out a lot. A little bit of compression and stuff like that. I know SSL makes some really, really nice stuff too, but I haven't even really dug into it. And one more thing about mixing. Like when somebody gives you a song and they say, "Hey, can you mix this for me?" and they give you one file, it's like a lot of the times people will say, "No, I can't do that." Well, yeah, you can. There's so much power in that parametric EQ that it's almost like reverse engineering. It's reverse mixing or subtractive mixing. And what it does is you take the sound that they gave you and you just make it better. It's done. It's done. You just put it in the EQ and they're like, I need this to have a little more bass, my voice to come up a little. They got the tracks set the way they want, their effects the way they want it. They just want it to sound better. Just parametric EQ, just the master. And you're straight, dude. Trust me, it's great. You can add just a little bit of what you need. Now, if you want to go into every single sound and do that, great. Even better. But you can get away with just doing that and going back, parametric EQ the whole thing, and then go to each track and add things. It's subtractive mixing opposed to just adding shit all the time. But right on, guys, I'm going to leave on that note, and I had a lot of fun today just going in here and doing this. But okay, one more thing. The reason I got 2 MPCs going is because, like I said, over that Wi-Fi network, you go to link to MIDI, and it's really, really dope. You just link to MIDI, and you go to your Wi-Fi, you go to your MPC Live, you hit the Wi-Fi, you go to your MPC X or other MPC Live or a Kai Force, and hit the Wi-Fi. This way you're all linked up. And you turn all the MTC settings to Ableton Link, and you can see it's all jiving, right? My point is, if you guys have seen the new C board, it's not even a C board, it's the Theory board. Check this out. Alright, cool. So you just go to Google, type in Theory board MIDI controller, go to images, and we're looking at this thing right here. This thing right here is gone viral. So on the left here, you got your chords of any kind: C, D, E, F, G, H, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R. It's got all of them, right? Then over here, it corresponds with whatever you touch over here. It jives, okay? So you see all these people doing all this stuff on YouTube, and it looks cool. It doesn't do that, that would just be like, okay, yeah, no, that's some advanced stuff there. That's really, really cool, actually. So my point is, I saw that and I'm just like, well, it plays chords on one and pads on another. So if I have these synced up, not only can I play chords on one and notes on the other one, I just set the scale the same way that I want on each one, or I can play different scales at that. Same as that. You can change them. I can sequence them. I can cut notes. You can do so much with this, but I'm trying to get it to where I can play 2 different instruments, and this is the best way. Now I can play hype synth, piano, and hype synth like worlds over sound with strings with my chords, and then the piano, so it can be like big fat chords on the MPC X, and then on my live I could play my notes, and I'm not going to be in a wrong note because it tells you what note to be in, and whenever you're in that progression you can't hit a wrong note. The same thing that's on there. So Yeah, I was looking at that theory board, and it does look really really cool, but ain't nothing that an MPC can't do. So I'm gonna probably try to hook that up next. I just thought that was a really really cool thing to try to do. It does sync up very well, and what's also dope about having it linked up is that the CV on the back, I can use this just to control 8 different drums, or 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, if I would just use it to control like kick, snare, hi hat, and maybe a crash cymbal. I would just use 4 gates out to just trigger those to go. And then over here, I would use my CVs going out. CVs are these wires here that are just everywhere in the studio, and they go out the little holes in the back and they send voltage. It's 5 volts. And what's really, really dope is that no matter what I do on my modular system, I can't always record. I have to have like a sine wave modulate another thing for it to go like that. And if I want it to change, I have to tell it to change. Now, in order for me to tell it to change, all I have to do is turn a knob on here. It records that I told it to change, and it affects my whole system. So it's really, 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 really cool. And I wanted to share that stuff with you guys today, guys, because those charts are very, very important. And if you just don't want to read the chart, I'll kind of, I left, it's in the video. You're going to have to go back and check it out. But here is, if you can even get that, probably not. Have to zoom in. No, you go back to the beginning of the video whenever I was on the Google and I looked at that cheat sheet. But again, if you guys want to come by 8barbeats.com, if you have any questions or anything like that, you can get in touch with me here. This is a great MPC beginner video. If you have never made a beat on your MPC before and you want to go ahead and just go through it, this is your first time doing it, this is a great video for you to watch right here. It's totally free. Just come to the site, check it out. And yeah, that's about all I got for you guys today. No more, one more, or anything like that. Unless you're trying to plug a guitar in here and you're getting a weak signal, you don't have phantom power, just use your normalizer effect on there and it'll boost it right up through the roof. Right on, a lot of stuff to go over, guys, but I'm going to let you guys play around and have a great day. If you're new to the channel, guys, consider subscribing. Okay, I try to make this fun and find different ways to, use your gear, and yeah, just try to make it fun. This is what it's all about. Thanks again. I'm Polypopo, and I'll see you hopefully here soon.